Adam had one dream. It wasn't about being rich, it wasn't about being famous, it was simple. He just wanted to study abroad. Not because he didn't love his country, he did, deeply, but because he'd always felt this pull, a desire to try something new, to explore different cultures, to see the world through a wider lens. The idea of being exposed to new ways of thinking, of living, it fascinated him. So he made a decision. After graduating from high school, he'd apply to study in Canada. Why Canada? He wasn't exactly sure. He didn't know. But many of his classmates talked about it at school, and something about Canada stuck with him. He got curious, did a bit of research online, and he loved what he found. That was it. His heart was set. He was still a kid, maybe around 15 or 16 at that time. Somewhere in those teenage years, but he felt certain. He felt determined. He told his mom and dad, shared it with his friends. It became a big thing. Something he started saying out loud, like it was already happening. He began to see it in his head, clear as day. Studying in Canada, snow falling outside the window, him inside the house with the laptop open, coffee in hand, and a Tim Hortons cup probably in the other hand, thick winter coats and boots, cold air on his cheeks, maybe watching birds cross the road as well, or a moose maybe, who knows. He imagined walking on campus, meeting people from all over the world. He imagined himself starting a brand new life. He wanted it so badly. It actually hurt. Eventually, he graduated from high school. He was around 17 or 18. He went to a study abroad agency to explore his options, and they welcomed him warmly. Yes, they said, you can study in Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto, Halifax. All these cities were on the table. He chose Toronto. He thought to himself, it's multicultural, diverse. You meet people from different cultures over there. It felt right to him. So he decided he's gonna go for Toronto. And the agency was happy to help. But there was only one condition. You'll need to take the IELTS, they said. He blinked. Like this. The what? He said. They explained, it's an English test. A requirement from the university. But Adam wasn't worried. His English was good. Actually, it was very good. He listened to English podcasts, watched YouTube videos. He understood things. He could speak well. They told him he'd need a 6.5 in the IELTS. He smiled to himself. 6.5? What is the full mark of that exam? He said. They told him the full mark is 9, but we want a 6.5. He thought to himself, that's alright, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, pepperoni cheesy. That's what he told himself. He booked the test a few days later and went home. He didn't even overthink it. He didn't panic. Everything was fine. Saturday morning, 9 a.m., he walked into the examination hall. He did the listening, and then the reading, and then the writing, and finally he did the speaking exam. It wasn't perfect, he knew it, but still, he felt confident. I probably didn't get a high score, he told himself, but surely I'll get the 6.5. I mean, I get many answers right. Then came the wait. Finally, the results arrived. By email. He clicked, he scrolled, and boom, the overall score was 5. His heart dropped. Shock, silence, like someone had punched him in the chest. He told his parents not to worry. And now, this. His mom and dad were disappointed, obviously. They didn't say much, but Adam felt something heavier than sadness. He felt embarrassed. He didn't even move. He just sat there. The air in the room felt thick, like someone had taken the roof of his dream and let the rain pour in. Then, a soft knock on the door. His mom, "What's wrong? What's wrong, Adam?" He didn't answer. He just turned the laptop screen towards his mom. She read the score. She paused and looked at him. Then gently, she said, "It's okay. You can try again. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world." But her voice cracked. And that hurt even more. That night, Adam was in bed, staring at the ceiling of his bedroom, hands behind his head, heart full of noise. The room was dark, but his thoughts were loud, very loud, in his head, louder than ever. He thought about his parents, his mom trying to stay strong, his dad saying nothing, but feeling everything. And in that moment, Adam made himself a promise. He whispered to himself, slowly but firmly, "I'll never let my parents lose hope in me. I'll never let my mom think her son is a failure." There was a long pause, then clarity. "You know what? I'm booking the test again," Adam talking to himself. "And this time, I am getting that bloody 6.5. He's talking about the IELTS score, the required score. He didn't sleep much that night, but he didn't need to, because in the morning, he did what he said. He booked the IELTS again. But this time, it wasn't like the first time. He gave himself 1 full week. Not to relax, not to wait, to prepare, to understand, and to fix what went wrong. You see, the first time he took the IELTS exam, Adam had no idea what he was walking into. He didn't even bother to watch a single video on YouTube about the exam. He didn't know the format, he didn't know the rules, he didn't even know what to expect. He said to himself, "It's English. I'll figure that out." That's what he thought to himself. But now he knew better. He opened YouTube, he watched carefully, took notes, paused, replayed the videos. He listened to advice from people who passed, learned how each section worked. With every video, he felt something returning. Confidence. This time, he told himself, "I know what's coming. I know the game. And I can play it much better." Again, another Saturday morning, 9 a.m., same exam center, same white walls, same cold air. But Adam, he wasn't the same. He was different this time. He walked into the examination hall quietly, head up, shoulders back. He smiled at the lady behind the desk. He wasn't shaking this time. Well, he wasn't shaking the first time, but this time he felt more confident. He wasn't guessing, he was ready. He sat down, took a deep breath. He did the listening, the reading, the writing, and the speaking, one after the other. No panic, no second guessing, just pure focus. When he left, he didn't know what to expect, but deep down he felt, this one went much better than the first one. So I'll definitely give the 6.5. A few days later, he got a notification on his mobile phone. The email was in his inbox. He opened it slowly, palms sweaty, heart racing. He scrolled, held his breath, and the overall score this time was 6.5. He froze, he blinked, he looked again on the screen, and still 6.5. He shouted, he laughed, he jumped up and ran to the kitchen. I did it, I get 6.5. His mom looked up stunned. Then she hugged him. They made it like a dramatic scene, as if it's a big deal, like, oh, drama. Relax, Maya, it's only 6.5. Why do you act like you got 9? Anyway, let me continue the story. She hugged him so tight. It almost knocked the breath out of him. I'm so proud of you, son. I'm telling you. That's dramatic, but let me tell you the story. Let me continue the story. I'm so proud of you, my son, she said, smiling through tears. She started crying. He smiled. He texted all of his friends. He posted in the group chat, called his cousins, told his dad. He was floating, like he was telling everyone. For the first time, Adam felt like the dream was real again. Like the door had opened already. And he was finally about to walk through it, to walk through the door. The next day, Adam walked into the student agency, the study abroad agency I told you about. Head high, light on his feet, a quiet confidence in every step, like he's a big deal. He saw the same lady behind the desk, the one who told him to get a 6.5. I get the score, he said. Look at the certificate. I get the score. Let's apply. I'm thinking this university. Maybe I'll go with this one, the one in Toronto. Or shall I go for Vancouver? What do you think? She looked at him and smiled politely. Can you please show me the certificate? She said. Adam reached into his folder, pulled out the paper like it was gold, and he placed it gently on the desk, full of pride. She looked at the certificate, and then she looked again, and slowly her smile faded, like she's not smiling anymore, and her eyebrows rose, and her tips tightened. She looked at him carefully. Why are you so happy? She asked softly. Adam smiled. Still, like he's still carried away, so excited. He said, why am I smiling? Why wouldn't I smile? I'm very happy. I get the score you told me to get. Look, it's a 6.5, like what you told me. She looked at him. Then she shook her head. Relax, hold your horses, she said. Like, relax, why are you so excited? We have a problem here. He said, problem? What problem? I got the 6.5 you told me about. What do you mean, problem? No problem, don't worry, no problem, trust me. What do you mean, trust you? There is a problem. She turned the paper towards him and she told him, look here. He said, yeah, 6.5, I can see it. She told him, no, look here, where it says reading. He said, yeah, reading, it's 5.5. She said, well, that's the problem. Adam was like,
What do you mean, the problem? He stared at the number. Then he looked at it. Then back at the paper. He said, so, what do you mean? I get the total score, which is 6.5. Why are you looking at the 5.5 that I got in the reading section? Be positive, look at the 6.5, the higher score. She said, and I already told you, they wanted a 6.5 overall. She's talking about the university. The university wanted a 6.5 overall, but I told you that they also want no score less than 6 in any section. Like he shouldn't be getting any score less than 6 in listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And she told him, 5.5 in reading, this means you will have to retake the test. He looked at her. Say it again. You will have to retake the test. It felt like the floor beneath him disappeared. All the joy, all the celebration, all the calls to his friends, the hug from his mom, the quiet, proud smile on his dad's face. Suddenly, everything felt stolen from him. He'd even started looking at plane tickets. He almost booked his flight to Canada. But now, he didn't even know what to say. Because he's thinking to himself, did she tell me that I shouldn't be getting any score less than 6? Like he couldn't remember. He could only remember the 6.5, the overall score. That's the only number that he could remember. Now he didn't even know what to say. How do I go home and tell them this? How do I face my mom? How do I explain it to my dad? What should I say to my friends and cousins? He didn't cry. Not yet. But he was about to cry. His hands started shaking. I know it sounds a little bit dramatic, the story, but that's what happened. So relax. Yeah? His hands started shaking and he folded the paper. Because he went to the agency with the folder. A folder with all the documents. The passport copy and the ID and everything. He folded everything. Put everything inside his bag. And he quietly walked away. No questions to the lady. No arguments with the lady. He didn't even say goodbye. It was a little bit rude, but she understood. It was just silence. Even the lady felt bad. She thought like she was rude or something. But she didn't mean to sound harsh. She wasn't cold. She was honest. As he was leaving the office or the agency, unsure what to do, having a lot of ideas in his head, she called him back. She told him, come, Adam, sit down. We can still apply, relax. But here's the catch. He said, we can apply? She said, yeah, we can apply still. And then he got excited again. He turned around, slowly obviously, and asked her, how can we apply? She told him, since you didn't meet the minimum requirement in the reading section, and you get 5.5 instead of 6, you will have to take English foundation courses first. Around 20 weeks. Universities normally offer foundation courses if you're not meeting the minimum required score, just to make up for the difference between the minimum score and the current score. Adam blinked, like he said, 20 weeks? Well, that's 5 months. Only because I got 5.5 instead of 6? She said, yes. And this means that you will miss the first and the second semester. So realistically, you'll start your actual course the following year. Then she paused before adding the final blow. And even that depends on your visa. You're more likely to be approved if you get straight into the main course. This way, it's a little bit risky. Adam didn't know what to say. His heart was sinking. Not thinking, sinking. Like he's being dramatic. By the way, he's the one being dramatic, not me. I'm just telling you the story. And he knew exactly what's coming next. What's coming next? Let me tell you what's coming next. Adam is not worried about the 20 weeks, by the way. He doesn't care. He was worried about something heavier, something more important. He thought of his dad. His dad? Yeah, he thought of his dad. Adam started to remember what his dad told him last time when they spoke about money. His dad told him, I'll support you, Adam. I'll find a way to support you financially, but only if you meet the entry requirements. I cannot pay for long English courses. I just can't. Like his dad is not rich, yeah? He's doing his best to support him, but come on, at least get the minimum requirements. Why would he pay for 20 weeks of English if you can just study harder and get the minimum score? So it makes sense. And now, that's exactly what he needed. 20 full weeks. And that's a lot of money, by the way. Thousands of dollars. So Adam didn't even ask, because he already knew the answer. This option, which is studying 20 weeks of English, wasn't an option. He left the agency, he walked back home slowly, dragging his feet, head low, shoulders heavy. He didn't even take the lift. He climbed the stairs, step by step, like he's punishing himself. His mom opened the door with hope in her eyes. Tell me, Adam, what did they say? Which university did you choose? And Adam, the poor guy, he couldn't look at his mom's face. He walked past his mom, straight to the living room, and sat on the edge of the couch. His dad came in a few minutes later. They both waited for him to speak. And finally, he said it. The agency told me I can study, but only if I take a 20-week English course. It means I will lose an entire year. And these foundation courses are expensive. Silence in the living room, because the dad was there as well. His mom sat next to him, and she put a hand on his back. His dad leaned against the wall, closed his eyes for a second. No one said it, but everyone knew what that meant. This wasn't like the first failure. That one was private, quiet, between him and a screen. But this was public. His family knew, his friends knew, he had already celebrated. Now he had to undo the celebrations. He had to face the people who told him about the IELTS and that he got the score and that he's gonna travel. He didn't even eat dinner last night. He went to his room, shut the door, went to his bed, again, staring at the same ceiling again. The ceiling of the room. But this time, he said nothing. Because the truth is, sometimes failure leaves you too tired to even think. And this time, Adam didn't feel like he's a fighter. He didn't want to fight. He felt like a disappointment. Adam went off his bed, went straight to the balcony. That night, knees on his chest, a blanket wrapped around his shoulders, and he watched the moon, quietly thinking. I'm telling you, this guy is dramatic. Dramatic. But anyway, he went to the balcony and he started watching the moon. But something inside him kept telling him, you can do it. You can make it happen. He started thinking to himself, well, I can do it. I just didn't give it my best shot yet. Like, he didn't try that hard. That's what he was thinking. And this time, He's talking to himself. It's going to be different. See, when he went to the balcony, things changed. So this time, it was indeed different. Why different? Let me tell you. He didn't want to ask his parents for test money again. Because come on, the test is not cheap. Yeah? You cannot just go and pay for the test and then keep failing the test. Come on. And his parents, they had already done enough. So without saying a word, he sold his phone. It was hard. It hurt, but it meant something. It meant that he was serious. It meant that he believed in himself. He gave himself 2 full months this time before booking the exam. Not like last time, he only prepared for a week. This time, he gave himself 2 full months. No pressure, just purpose. Eyes on the prize, like what I always say. But this time, he told no one about booking the exam. Not a single person. His parents thought that he'd given up. His friends thought that he was planning to study locally in his country. And Adam, he let them believe it. Because he couldn't handle another round of, what happened this time? Or don't worry, maybe next year. He didn't want to deal with these kind of things. He felt that feeling twice. So he wasn't going to feel it again. That's why he told no one that he's taking the test again. And he made a plan, like a study plan, a detailed one. Not just, I will study harder this time. No, a day-by-day plan. Which is a smart move, to be honest. Like he would study listening in the morning, and then in the afternoon he would do reading, and then in the evening he would do writing. Like a full-on study plan. And every other night, he would speak to himself in the mirror. Like he would shadow native speakers. He would speak to himself, record himself, listen to himself. Day in, day out. Day in, day out. Day in, day out. No shortcuts, no distractions. His room became like a cave. Like quiet, private war zone. Like war zone. No social media. He deleted social media apps from his phone. Well, he lost his phone anyway. He sold it. Yeah. So there was no social media. No late night chats with his friends. Just him. A desk, like the desk I'm sitting at here. Papers, headphones, like mine. And a promise. Because he promised himself. One life, one shot, one opportunity. And looks like he meant it. He's taking it seriously this time. Another Saturday, 9 a.m. in the morning, same exam center, same chairs, same walls, same desks. As he walked in, a few people looked up, and everyone now can recognize him. Adam looked away. He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to explain. He sat down at the desk. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He did listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Each section passed like a wave. This time, he didn't freeze. He didn't panic. He just focused. And he left the examination hall calm and relaxed. He wasn't excited and he wasn't scared, just still. He didn't want to celebrate because hope is heavy when it's broken twice. So he waited quietly. He didn't want to expect that he's gonna get the results. So low expectations this time. Which is a smart move, to be honest. A few days later, he got a notification on his laptop. The email was there. He clicked on the email, and there it was. An overall score of 7. But this time, he didn't really care about the overall score. He cared more about the minimum score, which was reading. Last time he got 5.5. This time he got 6.5. And that was the score that he was worried about. So he finally got the score that he needed. He didn't scream this time. He didn't cry. He just smiled. A soft, tired, proud smile. But still, he didn't tell anyone. Adam applied to the university alone. No calls, no help from anyone, no updates. He waited, he refreshed the inbox every hour, and finally, the offer came from the university. I'm talking about the admission offer, the acceptance letter. He got approved. Now, it's time to tell his family and his friends. He walked into the living room holding a piece of paper. His mom was cooking, lunch for the family. His dad was reading the newspaper. He laid the letter on the table and said, "I got in." His mom got in where? In the kitchen? Or in the living room? Where did you get in? He said, "I got into the university in Canada. I got the score. I got accepted." Got accepted? What do you mean you got accepted? His mom told him, "But you didn't get the score last time. How come?" He told her, "Don't worry. I made it happen." His mom dropped the spoon. She was using the spoon, yeah? And his dad stood up with his eyes wide. "You did it." They laughed. They hugged him. They cried. Getting a little bit dramatic, yeah? The living room turned into a celebration room. Because this time, it wasn't a dream. It was real. A few weeks later, Adam boarded his flight to Toronto, Canada. Because he got his visa, obviously. He booked a window seat on Air Canada with a small bag. And outside the window, when he arrived, he can see the soft snowflakes dancing in the air. He looked out and he said, "I made it." And he replicated the image in his head. You remember the image that I told you about when we first started the story? Him sitting in Canada with a Tim Hortons cup of coffee, yeah? And seeing the birds crossing the streets and the snow coming down. He replicated this scene. For real this time. And he was very proud of himself. The truth, sometimes it's better to stay quiet. Don't tell people your dreams, just work on your dreams and let your success do the talking. Adam planned. He didn't guess. He didn't rush. He gave it structure. He gave it time because, like they say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. He planned it like his life depends on it, and it worked. I hope Adam's story touched your heart. If you're going through failure, don't give up. But don't keep doing the same thing either. Take a breath, make a plan, work in silence, and when the time comes, let your results speak louder than the words ever could. This is your one life, your one shot. Make it count. I'll see you in the next video.